So yesterday we saw one of the most creepiest, bugged out, just bizarre set of circumstances behind a DEATH that I think I've ever seen. For real, man. I did a couple videos on it. We're talking about Gene Hackman, big Hollywood actor, active forever, long life, 95 years old. Him, his wife, his dog found deceased. It's crazy. That's a whole nother story, right? But today I'm just hearing of another actor being found deceased, this time by her mom, which has happened before. That ain't so bizarre, right? She ain't the first person to be found dead by my Dukes. But man, that's gotta be horrific for her mother, man. No parent is ever supposed to bury a child, period, let alone be the one to find him dead, man. I just can't imagine that. This actor wasn't as big of a star as Gene Hackman, a big screen star, although she made it to the big screen. First thing I remember her being on was on the big screen. It was a Nickelodeon movie, and I was turned up for that, man. That was Harriet the Spy. I was a young kid, man. Nickelodeon was the ish back then, man. Now we find out nowadays a lot of our favorite shows were written by some old FOOTFETISH weirdo, man. That's so sick and disturbing. Keep the weirdos away from the kids, man. Lock all those wicked demons up. Send them all to hell, I swear, man. But we're talking about Michelle Trachtenberg, as social media has been erupted with messages from people that worked with her, from Rosie O'Donnell, Keenan from Keenan and Kel, who's now on Saturday Night Live. Keenan and Kel, all that whole scene and group of actors that come out of those shows and many other spin-offs from the All That universe was the ish back then, man. But he has a real good message here. Check up on your people. Michelle was my friend. May she rest now, but check up on your people. Seriously, everyone, check up on your loved ones. Life gets tricky, and people can get down. All kinds of things can happen, and you gotta, people have their own families to worry about and everything like that. But if someone is a friend to the highest of caliber with you, they're like family, and you got to think about them every now and then and check in on them. Do what you can for them. You know what I mean? With the time that you have. As I've continued to point out, man, it feels like since the whole sickness and lockdown, a lot of people lost their their way of life, the way they made ends meet, just everything. Has been a tough time, and many people who didn't suffer from NENTAL illness may indeed do just that now. And before we get into a couple of clips talking about Michelle Trachtenberg, again, Keenan, Rosie O'Donnell, Blake Lively, who starred on Gossip Girl with her, Sarah Michelle Gellar. I never even knew Trachtenberg was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That wasn't a show I really got into. Some of my peoples used to watch it, but not me. It wasn't for me. Tap in if you watched it, if she was good on that show, or what other roles of hers you liked. She definitely continued to work her whole life. It's so crazy, deceased at the age of 39. That's so fucking young. But Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was the star of that show, hit social network with a message mourning the loss of Michelle Trachtenberg. And before I continue on with that and these clips, I just wanted to point out with Sarah Michelle Gellar's name being mentioned, that there is a I Know What You Did Last Summer official third sequel dropping in July of 2025. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it, Jennifer Love Hewitt. I can't wait, man. Part 1 and 2 I thought were good. Everyone, were you fans of that franchise? I love the way the Scream franchise had been reinvigorated, and they kept it pushing. They didn't reboot it like everything else. And I Know What You Did Last Summer came off the tail end of the success of Scream, and we never got a third sequel, unless you want to consider a straight to DVD B movie to be a sequel. I mean, I guess technically it was, but really it wasn't. But we're gonna get an official one with some of the main cast from the original. But Sarah Michelle Gellar also too was in the new Dexter show, Dexter Original Sin, which is fire. Everyone, let me know if you watched that, what you thought of it. I swear I need to start a channel just about binge watching TV shows and such. You know what I mean? Let me know if that'd be something you would subscribe to or not. But Sarah Michelle Gellar, as you see, shared quite a few pictures of her in Trachtenberg. Again, I guess she played the little sister on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And she said this caption accompanying those photos. She said, "Michelle, listen to me. Listen, I love you. I will always love you. The hardest thing in this world is to live in it. I will be brave. I will live for you." 3 broken heart emojis in a key emoji. You know, that the key represents Michelle Trachtenberg's death again at the young age of 39. That's crazy. Man, pushing 40 is scary. But, you know, obviously it's better to still be here than to be deceased, man. You know, I'm just saying that, reflecting on this news. You know what I mean? Like, things can always be worse in life. You could be dead and your mom could be finding you, you know, rather than whatever hardships you're going through. And but yeah, her death is the key. That Michelle was the key that would have fixed her broken heart. I don't know. I'm getting too metaphorical with it. It is early in the morning. This bugged out news just blew my mind. I didn't expect it. I truly have known of her entertainment and acting endeavors since I was a kid. Like I said, Nickelodeon was the ish back then, and she was one of the few, I'd say, because a lot of Nickelodeon stars, they hit a wall. She didn't, man. She really was on a lot of stuff, man, and had a very fruitful career. But I didn't know that seemingly she had a major health condition, and we'll get into some commentary after this clip here that breaks it all down a bit more, exactly what happened.
The latest now, though, on the death of Michelle Trachtenberg, the Gossip Girl, Buffy the Vampire Slayer actress, found dead in her New York apartment. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky here with the story. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, George. Michelle Trachtenberg has been on our screen since she was a kid. She played cute, she played catty, and now we all want to know how she died too young. This morning, a search for answers after actress Michelle Trachtenberg's unexpected death.
Can I get your name?
No. The 39-year-old, known for her roles on Gossip Girl.
I was just wondering if you had the chance to check Gossip Girl recently.
And Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hello.
Police sources tell ABC News her mother found Trachtenberg unconscious and unresponsive inside the actress's New York City apartment just after 8 Wednesday morning. Paramedics pronouncing her dead at the scene. Police sources say her death is not suspicious. Trachtenberg is believed to have died from natural causes, and sources say she may have experienced complications from a recent liver transplant.
Excuse me.
It was her portrayal of the callous and villainous Georgina Sparks in Gossip Girl that garnered Trachtenberg a cult fan base.
That's the way you want to play it? That's how we'll play it.
No, I'm not afraid of you anymore.
Huh? You should be.
Overnight, her co-star Blake Lively saying she was blindsided by news of Michelle's passing, writing, "Michelle was fiercely loyal to her friends and brave for those she loved. She was big and bold and distinctly herself. The world lost a deeply sensitive and good person in Michelle."
A good spy never gets caught. A good spy never gets caught.
The Brooklyn native kicked off her Hollywood career as a child, starring alongside Rosie O'Donnell in the coming-of-age film Harriet the Spy.
There will always only be one Harriet.
O'Donnell saying in a statement, "I loved her very much. She struggled the last few years. I wish I could have helped." In the early 2000s, Trachtenberg played Dawn Summers, the younger sister of Sarah Michelle Gellar's character in the television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Dawn, will you help me? I got your back.
And she inspired young girls with Ice Princess. Kim Cattrall, her coach in the film, writing, "This is heartbreaking, so talented, much too young. R.I.P. Sweet Beauty, XO." In 2022, she reprised her Gossip Girl character for the HBO series reboot.
Georgina Sparks.
You know who I am? Well, of course you do. You're a Gossip Girl.
She's really a comedian. She could do those funny parts, but she could also do drama. So I think, she's going to be remembered for that moment in time when young Hollywood was really bursting.
Last year, social media users expressed concern over Trachtenberg's selfies on Instagram, worrying about her health and appearance. In response, the actress sharing, "I've received several comments recently about my appearance. I am happy and healthy." Even though the police do not suspect foul play, the medical examiner's office here in New York is going to investigate her death, figure out cause and manner, and those results could come as soon as today, Rob.
So young, and so talented. All right. Our thanks to you as always.
So you hear it, at man. Again, what a great career. Everyone comment your favorite movies, roles, if you were a fan of her work. If not, she seems loved within the industry. But it's so crazy in the entertainment world, man. Even in real life for us regular folk, right? You never know who's really your friend or just acts like it, and who's faking the funk or not. And with celebs, everything being about their image and promoting new projects, who knows what's real and what's not, you know what I mean? Like when they fall out with each other, they try to keep that a secret and keep it on the hush. But and none of that's directed at her situation, or I'm implying that. I'm just reflecting on this crazy thing called life, seeing someone, who you didn't grow up with, but if you're around my age, again, it kind of feels like you did in a way from seeing her acting career and everything. And this is truly just bugged out and sad. Again, on the tail end of the Gene Hackman tragedy, which I keep saying again, I'm gonna pin a video in the comments, guys. Go watch that video. It's a bit of an update. It's a little, I guess you would call, in the crackpot conspiracy realm of content. But nonetheless, I think it's something worth tapping into, and would like to hear everyone's thoughts on it. It's a bit of a long video, but if you got yourself like 20 minutes, go check it out. But getting back to Trachtenberg, you heard it. Her mom came to her apartment, found her 39-year-old daughter lifeless, no foul play, thought to be or anything like that, as I didn't know she had a liver transplant recently. And you see, with her death hitting the news, there's statistics getting put out there, people tapping in with doctors who are specialists when it comes to the liver, man, a very important organ, man. If you're like me and you love to get your drink on, when you get older, you got to slow down a little bit, as well as whatever else you're doing in life. You just got to be a little more HELTH conscious. I always say this, man. We ain't got to like overnight try to morph into a health nut and jog a mile or run a mile a day and drink 3 gallons of water or 1 gallon of water. But you got to take steps, you know what I mean? Or else the Reaper may come to pay you a visit, man. Plain and simple. Like, just take baby steps. Slow progress is better than no progress, I think, is the way they say that it goes. But the specialists being quoted in these articles are saying like, hey, typically like complications from a liver surgery, a transplant, are not uncommon. But typically 75% of people that get the transplants have a success rate. And I think, again, I'm not quoting this, but I believe they were saying up to like 5 years. So I think that's the stats. Again, don't quote me, but 75% of people who get transplants make it 5 years, but also 25%, that's like 1 out of every 4 people will endure complications. Now, you hear a liver transplant, let me know if you're like me, that you initially start thinking of drinking, partying, drug abuse, things of that nature. I don't know that for a fact. I can't really seem to find any info on why exactly it was that she needed a transplant. But so often we know child stars can have problematic lives. Actors, period. It's a demanding field of work, but so is being an everyday schmuck working individual as well, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of, like we were just talking about, that Dan Schneider sack of ish on Nickelodeon, who I think she may have worked with, that fucking creep, was there's lots of predators like that individual, or other fucked up situations, you know what I mean? Like people like Mighty Mouse, UFL, just straight Nashville Predators, are all throughout that industry. And it's no shock, because weirdos flock to the places where they know the youth is going to be, just like other weirdos find their way to people that they intend to victimize. It's a sick, creepy, sad, demented world out here. So stay safe, stay focused, everyone. But that's all we really got for now. Like I was saying, this just caught me by surprise, truly shocked me. 39 years old, passed away, left quite the legacy behind, with the work that she put in the acting world. You know what I mean? Again, a lot of those Nickelodeon stars hit a wall. She didn't. She pushed on and got booked for pretty big roles. Like we said, she wasn't a Gene Hackman type of career, but between TV, some movie appearances, she carved herself out quite the successful lane in the acting world. And rest in peace to her. Again, it's ruled not suspicious immediately by police. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, if we don't see further reports on this. There's times where, when it's not a foul play type situation, a lot of stuff is kept on the hush. And Trachtenberg, to me, it seems, was that type of individual. Like, you guys seen the reports where fans were hitting her on social media like, yo, you don't look well. And we know type of dickheads people are, and prick bastards, assholes, trolling on social media. So often people do that, but like, on the real, and I'm sure there were some prick trolls that were making jokes or saying things negatively, but any fan that was just trying to hit her with, hey, Michelle, are you doing good? Because you're not looking so great. No disrespect intended, or you ain't even got to sugarcoat it that much. I'm just saying, anyone that was really truly trying not to diss her and trying to comment like, hey, we're alarmed for your HELTH because you ain't looking so good. You know what I mean? Hey, you got a busy schedule, you work a lot, take some time off and go see a doc with the quickness ASAP. And she responded back like, I'm happy and healthy, which wasn't true, wasn't the case. Like, we found out she got a liver transplant, which I'm thinking, from the way everything's been reported, indicates that it was pretty recent. Like, no, you weren't in the best of health. You know what I mean? So seems she likes to keep her matters pretty private, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, man, sad story. You know what I'm saying? Everyone cherish life. Like Keenan was saying, check up on your people. And, let's talk about it in the comments, your thoughts, your reaction, what you think about her career. I Know What You Did Last Summer, which, again, that's kind of a sidebar conversation. No disrespect intended to the memory of Michelle Trachtenberg. You know what I mean? That was just with Sarah Michelle Gellar's collaboration, and love to Trachtenberg that she's shown in the wake of her death. Again, I had no clue she was on Buffy. A pretty big character. Sad-ish, man. And just everything else we talked about in the video. Let's discuss it all below. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new. This is J Coffee Talk, where we coffee talk it up on music, news, sports, all kinds of stuff, conspiracies, whatever. Subscribe. Let's talk. It's Coffee signing out. Peace. God bless. R.I.P. Michelle Trachtenberg.